Oh, oh. Welcome to Meaningful Moments. I return to Niagara today after being in Boston for a week. While I was with our high school students, I shared an acronym with them. Surprise, yes? And this acronym was prepare, adapt, center. Whenever we think of pack, we think of politics, but pack is a way to be in a noisy context and still have quiet content. Prepare, adapt, center. This plan for them is starting with the secular and ending with the sacred. Preparing is me being someone who's efficient and effective. Center is me feeling I am the spirit. I shared this with our high school students because perhaps by their age, they lack the maturity to know the first approach should not be secular, but rather should be sacred. Better than pack is cap. Center, then adapt, then prepare. If you are centered, then you will be better at adapting, and that is the best preparation. This is the culture we've created in Meaningful Mornings. What are we doing before we have to fly or drive or bank? We're centering ourselves. In Sanskrit, the word for centering is sadhana. This means shravana, manana, and nididhyasana, or listening. This is what we're doing together. Simultaneously reflecting. And after Meaningful Mornings, then practicing. Center, adapt, prepare. Bhagavad Gita's chapter 15 is the spirit of the Bhagavad Gita. In the verses we've studied thus far, Shri Krishna is showing a constant comparison. As a teacher, he has taught us what bandha is and also what mukti is. He shared with us what prakriti is and also what purusha is. He has shared what it feels like to follow sight and to follow insight. Overall, Shri Krishna is encouraging us in this chapter thus far to not just know more, but to feel more. This is not a scholarly community or culture, but for us to act on what we know so that we feel we are more than the physical body, mental body, ego body. This is constantly shared in our Upanishad. If you happen to see, using sight, a snake, the one who is feeling more They're the ones who are practicing being deeper. If there's a snake, then there has to be a rope. Puja Swami Chinmayananda's example, if my eyes are seeing a ghost, my insight should be, there is a post there. Recently, our children and I, we went to a carnival, and we were just sitting, and Vyasa had pointed out, look, there's water in the sky. He was referring to the heat waves above some sort of grill. But he's right. If there was no heat, there would be no water in the sky, correct? There is no water in the sky. I have to be deeper to recognize that's heat. He doesn't know that. He's 6 years old. I sort of know that. Just on a humorous note, yesterday I'd asked Shuka, what time did you wake up? And he doesn't wear a watch. He looks at his arm. He's looking at his wrist. And he said, 70 o'clock. To practice being deeper. There's so many of our young adults and evolving adults in Boston who are joining us right now. You can see a big group of them. And I've been trying to share with them what it means to be an artist. A typical artist is one who engages in a verb in a special way, like dancing or singing. And so they take a step to being deeper. But a life artist, they are deeper in all verbs. The way they speak, the way they fold their clothes, the way they look at someone. And since they're being intentional in all verbs, they don't take a step towards the spirit, they're walking towards the spirit. Step after step after step. Who do you think's gonna get to the ends first? So enough being broader. You don't have to travel farther. You don't need to know more about politics. Be deeper. We commence our verses on food. That's why so many have joined us. Verse 13. Gama vishyacha bhutani dharayamyaha mojasa pushnami chaushadi sarvaha somo bhutva rasatmakaha. Joy. Gam means the earth. Whose earth? Our earth. Avishya, the one who's radiating through the earth, as well as bhutani, which means the beings on earth. This is the translation. Here is our reflection. Beings, such as all of us, and animals and plants and stones, depend on the earth. Everyone agrees? But where Sri Krishna is taking us, what does the earth depend on? Dharayami, that means supported, held, ojasa, by a unique power, energy, aham, that is Sri Krishna. It is Sri Krishna's presence that radiates through the earth to the earth's beings. What a lovely visualization. If I can offer some reflections here. In previous verses, Sri Krishna has shared that the light of fire, tatteja mamakam, that's my light. Fire is one of the elements. Now Shri Krishna is taking up another element, that is earth. The way the earth nourishes, that's coming from me nourishing the earth. Clear? The elements, when they are expressed in our outer world, that becomes our experiences. Me touching this table, this is my outer world. What is this table made of? Elements. The elements, when they express in my inner world, that becomes my equipment. My mind is also made up of space and air and fire and water and earth. If you eat junk food all the time, your mind is going to be junky. You will be distracted. And it is the ego. Deeper than the experiences is the equipment. Deeper than the equipment is the ego. It is what makes existence the elements. The ego makes infinity many finites, such as the elements. Then I have my inner world, then I have my outer world. But think about support. Experiences depend on equipments. Equipments depend on ego. Ego depends on existence. This is what Sri Krishna is guiding us to feel, is to be deeper. Pushnami. Pushnami is another word for support. Aushadhihi sarvaha. Aushadhi, in a light way, means herbs or plants. In a heavier way, this means medicine. What saved Sri Lakshmana was the Sanjeevani Aushadhi, the medicine in the form of Sanjeevani. Now, the implication of this is plants are to be felt as medicine. And so for us, we should eat plants. We should not eat animals that eat plants. We should directly eat plants. Acharya Shankara shares in Sadhana Panchakam that we're all afflicted with the disease of hunger. Treat this disease with food. Now, if you're physically unwell and you take medicine, how much medicine do you take? If you take too much, you'll keep being sick. If you take too little, you'll keep being sick. You take the right amount of medicine for that illness. In the same way, to eat the right food in the right amount. And so a practice I've shared in our Practices to Perfection course, every meal you have, 1/3 of it should be uncooked. Uncooked meaning straight plants, fruits, vegetables that are not processed. Shri Krishna nourishes beings. Beings are nourished by Aushadhi. Aushadhi is nourished by the earth. The earth is nourished by Shri Krishna. And finally, Somo Bhutva Rasatmakaha. This nourishment is expressed as the moon shining on these plants, which then nourishes humans. Now there's a writing in this verse that makes this more clear, but I just want you to think about it for now. Why is it that the moon shines on plants to make them nourishing. The implication that Sri Krishna is sharing here is to expose yourself to nature more. Expose yourself to nature more. The icon of our mind is the moon. And so Sri Krishna is sharing here, expose yourself to nature, let the mind feel more natural. How? By eating more natural. These are some reflections, and Sri Krishna keeps building on each of these. And I hope you're not lost or feeling this is not practical. Whatever you eat, the tamasic part of that becomes your urine, and you defecate that. Also through sweat and stuff like that. Whatever you eat, the rajasic part becomes the body. And whatever you eat, the sattvic part or the causal part becomes your mind. So if you always eat unnatural foods, and you always eat this in unnatural ways, watching TV, talking to people, then our mind becomes the same way. We'll always try to know more rather than be more. But Sri Krishna is sharing the genesis of all of this is me. The beings, the plant, the earth. Just remembering that, imagine how different your next cup of coffee will be. Your apple, and so on. This is super practical. From inspiration to application. Your application yesterday was to compare verses 6 and 12. When one starts to engage in the Bhagavad Gita in a systematic way, this becomes a more serious map to them. So you should keep checking yourself. Do you treat this like history, or do you treat this like this is your plan for life? Your application for this morning, I want you to expose yourself today to the sun and moon, ideally at the same time. That means you have to get up at a very particular period to expose yourself to the sun and moon at the same time. Try. Shanti, 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 be joy.